and I'm pretty blunt with them, but like,
Oh, I've heard you
and I always
sometimes.
say-
I've heard you from the other room. You're blunt, but the people realize that you're saying it because you care about them. and you want them to get better.
I try to tell them like I'm totally saying this out of like trying to help you out. I'm not saying this. It has been 6 months since you have been working for me. For those of you who don't know, this is not my twin brother, but it is my brother,
The younger brother.
Teppo.
Yes.
How does it feel?
6 months.
6 months.
Oh, this trip is a good reminder of what it's been like. It was good times, but I've moved on now.
Bigger and better things.
To new studios and new adventures.
The question is, what is it like going full-time YouTube?
It's wonderful. You told me so many times you should do full-time or go full in. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing full-time, but I wasn't doing it full-time actually.
How many people have I told they should go full-time YouTube? And they have not. Pretty much everybody, including you. I feel like you... yeah, literally probably in the beginning, I was like, oh, you should do YouTube too. And you just didn't. Why didn't you? That's a good question, actually.
In the beginning?
It's years, yeah.
You said it a few times, but then I was just like, nah. I think I felt like I had Instagram stuff going on and doing weddings. But then because I was in Australia, then at the end of the time in Australia, I was thinking like, oh, maybe it would be interesting for people to see my life in Australia, people back home or something like that. Now, maybe I'll do some memory videos or travel videos now.
But you had all the skills. You're personable, you're fun, you know how to make videos, you're skilled in photography, filmmaking, wedding photography, all that stuff. You didn't think like, oh, I could just do this, or what was it that? Why didn't you think that you could do it, or you didn't want to?
I think at that point I was just so like weddings, traveling, Instagram. That's what I thought I was doing.
But why it, like, just you thought that that's would take you further, or you didn't think you could do YouTube, or that there wasn't any money in there? Or
I probably didn't even realize what YouTube was at that point. I thought YouTube was still like kitten videos.
Even though your brother is doing YouTube full time.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
It's a really interesting thing, I think. Like, literally, probably like 3 years went by where you didn't do any YouTube at all, probably. Or maybe some like when I started YouTube, I've been doing YouTube for 5 years now.
Yeah.
So there's been at least like 3 years. Right?
I started in 2017, October.
Doing YouTube?
Yeah, Australia. But it was like...
No, you
did.
No way. Because I started in 2017.
Yeah, I started that fall. We have to look up now, YouTube. I started, but I never did. That's the thing. I started, but I'd only do like one video here and there.
I'm going to check this now.
Check. I would say that I started in October 2017 when I was in Australia.
But you just didn't do many videos, or you didn't do it consistently?
If I'm brutally honest, I had a goal of putting out one video a week, but that was maybe just the forced thing that I was putting out videos that weren't that good. And that's probably why it wasn't growing.
Probably not the best way.
I think I'm very like, I want to be consistent and stick to the schedule. So I'd be like, I want to do one video a week. But then I think I was kind of doing videos just not fully on.
4 years ago was your first YouTube video.
The launching in Australia. Was it 2017?
Life is Too Short?
Yeah, 2017.
That was the launch video? No, 4 years ago.
Was it October 2017?
Yeah, I guess you did start, but you just didn't do it very much then.
No, and that's what we were talking about. I was doing weddings. I was working at the church, doing Instagram stuff, and then YouTube on the side. But I didn't think that maybe it could be like my full thing. I remember the first year or two. One time I sat down like, okay, I made 50 videos this year, and I looked at how much I made that year, and I'm like, I made like $50 a video. I was like, how can you sustain yourself with this? So that was like the hard part, where it's like, okay, you know that if you make YouTube videos, in the eventually it'll probably pay off, but then in the meantime, you still got to pay the bills. So then I'd go and chase some Instagram brand deals or do another wedding gig, and then obviously those things take away from doing the YouTube channel. So then
this is a very interesting thing. Actually, I think a lot of people make this mistake where they're trying to do too many things in life.
Oh yeah.
And they don't do any one thing really well.
Yeah.
Every single area suffers because you just don't have enough time or bandwidth. And so you do this thing half-assed and this thing half-assed and this thing half-assed. And the returns are exponentially affected.
Yeah.
If you just put in a little bit more, or you just focused on one thing, any one of those areas, your returns and your gain would have been exponentially bigger.
Yeah, I definitely felt that, because before I came to work with you, I was working at the church, I was shooting weddings, and doing YouTube, and I felt like I did all three of them okay, but not the greatest.
Yeah.
So you're kind of frustrated in all departments because you're always like, okay, if I did this one area full time, I would be much better at it, or I could get more gratification out of doing it because you can put your all into it compared to, yeah.
I think a lot of people give this advice, including big YouTubers. They say you have to make 100 crappy videos before like things take off, and I think that's the worst advice. If you're making 100 videos and they all just suck, like there's something wrong. Like you gotta learn something within like 30 videos, 50 videos. The 50th video should be like 100 videos that just suck. Like no, I think
At first when you said the 100 videos, I was like, yeah, I think that was me. And my first 100 videos weren't that good.
No, I think like you have to analyze things and like really look at like, oh, what would make this a better video? You don't just keep making
Definitely.
crappy videos over and over again.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people who make YouTube videos and they're always like, I don't know why it's not growing or why it's not going forward. And then you go look at the content, you're like, well, maybe you should just go back and look at some of the videos and just learn from them.
Yeah, a lot of people think, oh, I'm doing a good job.
Yeah.
I'm doing all the things right. And then when somebody else that's been doing YouTube, for example, looks at it like, actually, these aren't very good. Like you're really all over the place, or your thumbnails suck, or whatever. But yeah, I don't like the advice of wasting. I mean, it's not waste of time, but the idea that you should be making 100 crappy videos, and then you're like that. Then you're starting to get to the good stuff. Like, yeah, every video, like. You should have something going on after 100 videos, but you should like the first video is going to suck. Your 5th video should be better. Your 10th video should be a lot better than the 5th video. Your 30th video should be already like, okay, that's a pretty good video.
Have you ever gone back and looked at the beginning videos? How good it feels to be like, I'll show everyone who is ever like discouraged about YouTube because they're like, oh, I don't know, it seems so overwhelming. And I'm like, or they'll be like, I feel so awkward in front of the camera. I'll be like, yeah, just go look at my first video though. And then they're always like, oh, okay.
You sucked.
Yeah, everyone's awkward.
Yeah, everyone
I'll be like, look at Maddie's first video. He was awkward too. Everyone's awkward in their first video. Except for Peter.
Except for Peter, he's gifted.
He was a born entertainer right away. He's in the room over there.
Comes out of the womb just entertaining the masses.
But I think it's good to go, when you've been doing YouTube for a few years, to go back to those first videos because that's just a sign of how far you've come. And that's really encouraging to be like, nice, I'm going forwards.
I guess that's what I don't like that advice of making the 100 videos. Sounds like you should just keep making no matter what.
Yeah.
But if you can't look back even on your last video and be like, oh, I would have changed, I would have done some things differently. I think I could have made that video better. That means you're just staying at the same level.
Yeah.
You should always be able to look at your old videos and cringe a little bit because you're like, yeah, I would have done that different, or I could have done some things better there. That means you're getting better. If you just think like, oh yeah, my last 50 videos are great.
Yeah,
like I wouldn't change a thing.
It's one of those feelings that I don't think anyone wants that feeling when you just made the video and you upload it and then you rewatch. You're like, oh, I should have done that differently. It's not a great feeling, but it's also a good feeling because that means you're seeing the things that you could get better at all the time and making it better.
Well, I think there is a little bit of a difference there. If you're like just posted the video, you're like, yeah, you should just put a little bit more effort into that. If you're already at that point thinking like,
or just not upload it and go back and fix it rather than being lazy.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're just being lazy at that point. There's no excuse. But when you look back at your videos from last year, like, yeah, your videos should be better now. You should be better at storytelling. You should be better at whatever. Yeah. So full-time YouTube, you have 80,000 subscribers now? Do you have?
I think I'm at 82,000 soon.
82.
Yeah.
So and you went technically full-time at
maybe 80,000.
80,000?
Yeah.
A little bit before.
Maybe like 79.
Yeah, because you were I think that's pretty interesting because a lot of people don't understand. They think you have to have like millions of subscribers to make YouTube into a full-time thing. What would you say has helped you to go full-time at 70,000, 80,000 subscribers and not have to have hundreds of thousands of them?
Yeah, I think that's like interesting because I was even thinking a lot about like mentoring and helping YouTube channels. And I thought, oh, I can only start mentoring YouTube channels when I'm like huge channel. But then one day I started thinking like, that could actually be pretty interesting kind of vantage point to be saying like, hey, at 80,000, I already went full time and I can pay myself a salary. Because I think for a lot of smaller creators, what stops them is the finances.
Yeah.
So
Always,
what was the question though? How did you think I was able to do it?
yeah.
Well, I sat in the office with Maddie and Tyler every day for a year and learned about the business side. No, I definitely did
probably
help.
helped.
I
That
learned a
probably
lot,
helps.
but I think working with you and then seeing other creators and just realizing that there's so much potential with many avenues of income, many streams of income, they all come together. So even just, it was interesting when I went back to Finland out of curiosity, I started looking up all the different YouTubers in Finland and just to see how do they do the business side of YouTube. And there was channels like 300,000 subscribers and you look at their description and it's like a description of what the video is about.
Yeah.
And then follow me on social media. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is the real estate. This is where you can make money by offering services, affiliate links, offering different digital products that can help your following. And they don't use any of that.
I haven't done this in a while. I just checked my Amazon affiliates for the last 2 days. $400 and $300.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Just from people clicking on those
Yeah.
links. If I didn't put those links in, I would not have made $400 in one day from random affiliate links.
And there's just so many things like having your own digital presets, affiliate links, Amazon links,
AdSense, brand deals,
courses, the brand deals on top. I think for me, that was the big thing that like going full time, I didn't want to have to stress about finding the work. So then I did that I would have 2 sponsors every month and that would be my base salary. And then all those other passive income streams are just like a bonus. And I've probably said it to you and other people that I find it so nice that before it'd be like in the year, you spend a lot of your time just trying to find the work. And then like you get to spend 10% of your time actually creating. And then again, you gotta go find out more work. And then you start creating. But now with YouTube, the whole year is set. So it's like,
you can create as much as you
what
want
kind
all
of
the
content
time.
should I create? So like now it's more like 90% of the time it's just thinking about what kind of videos you want to make, filming, editing, and then 10% of your time is sending out the invoices. And then you get your money and you're good.
I think most people don't understand that like the money is really easy in pretty much any area of life if you focus on getting really good at something.
Yeah, true.
If you just full on focus on, if it's photography, just every day getting better at photography, the money always comes. Like as long as you're even a little bit smart with your business stuff, the money will come. But a lot of people just focus on how can I get the more money, and that but that doesn't lead you to getting better at the thing.
True.
And then you might be able to get more money that way. Also, it's good to focus on the business side, but first you got to have a good product. First you got to have something that like you can offer people, and then it's really easy. Like the money, there's a million different ways of making money. If you're the best at anything, it could be you're the best at surfing, you're the best at gardening, you're the best at interior design, you're the best at photography, filmmaking, whatever. You will get paid.
Someone's interested in it.
Yeah, everybody's interested.
I think a lot of companies are starting to realize more and more like anything like blogs or YouTube channel where it's got a long shelf life. Like if I ever did pitch to a company about doing a collaborative video or dedicated video where I'm reviewing their product or something, you can say that this YouTube channel has long shelf life, whereas something like an Instagram post and stories, it's 24 hours and it's gone.
Yeah.
And companies nowadays are like very like willingly spend $1,000 for a 24-hour post. Whereas if you say to that company that, hey, I'm gonna make a YouTube video on my channel, not only will my whole audience see that video, but as well it's going to be searchable for years to come. Many companies are like, oh, that's a good deal.
Well, I think for us, sometimes it feels like, man, how do these companies pay so much for these videos, like these brand deals? But actually, they're very cheap compared to like traditional advertising, where you're just shotgunning it to maybe sort of your demographic, but probably not even, and you have no idea if you got anything back for that. We have like a direct, YouTubers have a direct audience, that's in this area or that area, like Backpack, Dan Becker has like a specific, like, and he gets thousands and thousands, like stadiums full of people, views, seeing that direct demographic.
Plus think of that, we do it all. So usually a company would have to hire a agency or creative agency, then they hire the production team, and that production team has 10 people to create the video.
And then they have to pay money to distribute it.
Yeah, then they're
through,
thinking like, well, what do we do? It's like back in the day when we used to do freelance videos. It'd be so frustrating that we put all this time and effort into video,
make a really good video,
and then we send it to the company, and they put on like
they put it on their
Facebook account,
Vimeo or something,
and then we get like 100 views, and we're just like, so it's like one thing is creating the content. So as YouTubers, we go out and make a great production with like a 1-man, 2-man team, and we have the distribution for it. For an audience that is actually genuinely interested in what you're offering. Hopefully you don't make videos about milk or something that's not what we do, but you know.
Yeah, I think it's really weird to think that this is just the beginning. And a lot of people think that this is like, oh, YouTube's too saturated, blah, we can't get into it. This is just the beginning of like I don't know what YouTube and this world of content creators and stuff will turn into, but it's definitely here. Even you see it, you're not very good at following on Twitter and stuff like that, but you see it in all the different areas. Like for example, right now in news, there's a lot of like individual news people that are popping up that like are individual journalists. They have a YouTube channel, they have whatever, like Johnny Harris. There's a bunch of people that have gone from these traditional news things and now they're doing their own thing. And it's way more interesting, I think, that like they don't have any like editor or company saying what they need to do. They can do whatever they want, just like us. There's no agency telling us what videos we have to make, and we can just make the videos that we actually want to do in an independent way. Like that's never been done before, and I don't know where this whole content creator thing is going, but it's really interesting.
Did you know that there's I heard there's one channel, it was like a finance channel where it's like a creative agency makes this YouTube channel with an actor as the spokesperson or like the YouTuber, but it's not actually his real channel. It's like it's a finance channel, and they have a whole team creating this. Like,
and is it doing well?
It is, which is very crazy.
Well, I mean,
it's like,
I guess if you have big actors,
I think they do like every day a video and stuff. So it's pretty intense. That like I guess companies are really seeing the value of YouTube. That instead of doing their own thing, they hire a YouTuber to do it, kind of thing.
Well, I think that's what, like, I've always thought that that's what YouTube would become, is like, it's almost like broadcast TV, but everybody's channel is a different everybody's YouTube channel is a different channel on like how, you know, ESPN or whatever, and like different areas or different channels. Yeah, YouTube. Have you found it easier or harder going full time than you thought?
I was just talking to Tyler about this, that I feel like going back home, I had this like huge game plan, all these steps of what I'm going to do.
I got it all figured out.
Now after 5 months, I'm like, I did all those steps. What do I do now? And then I think at one point I was kind of like panicking, like, oh man, what am I going to do now? But then I just realized that like, I'm just going to stay consistent. And I think one thing for me is that I think a lot of creators, when they start getting a little bit bored, they add a new thing. But I wanted to make sure that I can keep doing this in a healthy way. So I thought, okay, if I can keep being consistent for a year and I'm doing it well and I'm not like burning out, then maybe I'll look into a new thing or add something to the, you know, the mix. But I'm like, I'm just gonna keep making consistently good content. We have a kid coming the way too, so that's gonna like put a,
what is it, 9 weeks?
Yeah, 9 weeks.
Life is about to change.
Good luck being consistent with the baby coming. But I'm going to try. I'm going to work ahead, you know.
Oh, I think it's totally... so many people always say to me, like, how do you do everything with kids and everything? I think it's all about priorities and definitely. Timing. Like, there's actually a lot of time in a day, and most people don't realize how much time they kind of just waste, whether it's on social media or just sitting around.
Do you ever have that where you're like, oh, I gotta go check up on that one message on Instagram, and then you go out and open on Instagram and you start scrolling 15 minutes, and you're like, why did I come here in the beginning?
What was I supposed to do again?
But the great thing about YouTube and what I'm doing now is so flexible. So even Vera was like, hey, you know, if everything's going well with the baby, you can just slip into the office for a few hours, film your video, and then just add in your time. So in some ways, it's quite nice that we're in a good spot.
And when the baby's small, all they do is just eat, poop, and like that's just sleep most of the time. And so it's actually really easy in the beginning. It's much harder when they get to like 1 year, 2 years. Then it's like, then you have to really, they want your attention all the time. And like, that's when it gets harder. You can't really work from home as easy because they want to be around you
True.
and they want to play with you and stuff like that.
Daddy, play with me. I think the hardest though so far with YouTube is probably just like the up and down of the YouTube creative studio. You know, it's like if one video goes well, second video goes well, you're like, oh, I'm on top of the world. And then if you have one bad video, you're like, oh, okay. And then second bad video, you're like 9 out of 10. And then third video, 10 out of 10. Then you're like, oh, it's over now. But then even the other day, I think I just posted actually this week a video talking about it where it's like, if you get too obsessed with metrics, you become like this emotional roller coaster. And then I just had to think about like, what am I doing? What is this channel about? And I think that if you just stick to that, it's serving a purpose, then it's going to grow.
Actually trying to make the good content instead of what will get me a good number on the metrics.
And most likely when you look at all the videos you make in a year, they're going to average out. You're going to have some really great ones, some not so great ones view-wise. It might be a great video, just didn't get good views. And so in the end, it's going to be okay.
It's really weird. When I started doing YouTube, I'd never really paid attention to like, oh, that was a good video and that was a bad video. Like it was very...
they didn't have the 1 out of 10 back then.
I think that's a big reason. They didn't have a number ranking. And so you weren't as as acute to oh, that was a bad video. You might have seen like, oh, that didn't get as much, but it wasn't like that was a bad, you posted good videos, now you're posting bad videos. It was just like, oh, I'll just, okay, post it. And they're like, I think that's a normal amount. Yeah, that's about right. And then you just go on to the next one and you make it. There wasn't like, oh, that's a 7, that's an 8 out of 10. Oh, that's a 3 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
So I just quit now. It's just another 10 out of 10. Have you heard of Matt D'Avella's plugin that just like hides all that?
It,
Would you use it? Would you think it would be healthy for creators to be like, for a season maybe to be like...
If I could hide the 10 out of 10 thing, the 9 out of 10 thing.
Just see the 1 out of 10.
I think metrics are helpful, and it's like... It can be like good motivation. I think there was more motivating back in the just seeing numbers. You're like, oh, thousands of views. But when it starts like you're getting a ranking, like
comparing each video in a way.
Somebody saying to you, you did a good job, you did a bad job. That doesn't feel good because that's so against the whole YouTube like ethos of like, you just make the videos that you want to make. Yeah. Now it's like, no, you can't make the videos that you want to make. You have to make the videos that are going to be 1 out of 10s.
I was telling a friend who was struggling with this whole view thing and feeling like it's going down. And I said, why don't you just download that Matt D'Avella plugin, and then I'll just tell you how it's going. And I'm just going to totally BS and be like, it was 1 out of 10,
that was a sick
hundreds of thousands views. And I was saying
Maybe
how would like psychologically pump that person up?
Somebody needs to make it, not that it hides them, that it just says 1 out of 10 every time. Hey, congrats, this is a great video.
Post another great video. Keep going.
A lot of people watched this video. It was great.
or even just to realize, like, I think sometimes as creators, we get kind of numb to the numbers. And I love that some guy, there's probably a lot of these videos floating around, but someone's like, if you got 20 views, that's a classroom. If you have 1,000 people, that's an arena. And if you actually like visualize
how many
1,000 views, that's 1,000 people. 1,000 people is a lot of people if you see them in a big room. So it's like, that makes it real.
That was one of the biggest problems with the whole pandemic era, and not seeing people, not being around, and like your subscribers, not like you don't get any interaction.
Yeah.
But when you have this interaction of like you're just hanging out and all of a sudden somebody's like, oh, hey, are you Matt? Like we just had that with Peter over there. We were just literally on that rock over there, and these 3 guys came up and like oh, we just saw the FPV drone, and they're like, oh man, that's Peter. Oh, it's Matt. Then you realize, oh, there are real people that watch these videos and they're being impacted by them, and that gets you pumped up. And when you don't have that ever, then it's just like, oh, there's just numbers. They're just like, I have less numbers, I have more numbers now.
Did I tell you the story what happened to me at the train station?
No.
I missed the train one week coming home from a trip, and I forgot to change the time zone, and I missed the train because I've
done that before.
I was an hour late to the train. I thought it was on time. I got there, I was like, why is it not on the board?
Tons of time.
I was like, why is it not on the board? I don't see this train, and I missed it. So I put on Instagram stories saying like, oh, I missed my train. I'm here at Tikkurila station. And in 10 minutes, this guy comes in there and walks up to me, Teppo? And I was like, hey, what's up? And one of my followers a guy who's from Pakistan living in Finland, which is already so random. That like, how did you get to Finland?
Yeah.
He ran to the station to come say hi, and at first you could tell like he was so like shy and kind of nervous. His hands were shaking. It was so fun talking with him. We probably sat there for like half an hour, just sharing life, and I was like, that's so cool. This guy was like so excited to come to the station just to meet me. I was like, who am I to be like in this situation? So
I think even if you had like, let's say 500 views on a video, if you could see 500 people watching your video right over there, you'd be like, oh my gosh,
like
that's
a film
lot
premiere.
of people. Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like it would be crazy. But then you look at it on YouTube, like, well, that guy's not doing well.
Maybe YouTube should create this kind of like visual board of everyone's avatars. So you can like click, instead of seeing views, you can click this like avatar screen and you see all these faces. Just
All the
like,
little thumbnails.
or around the world, like around the world globe map. Or,
yeah, that would be cool, actually.
maybe we get hired at YouTube.
Yeah, we should definitely get hired.
YouTube, hire us for a YouTube development like
Drop
trainer team.
the 1 out of 10 thing. 10 out of 10 thing. We need to see more of the account. I think it is a big motivator. I think it's almost bizarre when you meet somebody and they say things like, you changed my life. Like even Danny Gevirtz, like he's saying all these super nice things. I'm like, oh, you're way better than I am at filmmaking. Like, I don't think I've done anything for you. Like, and he's like, oh no, you changed. Like, or Jake Frew, like, you know, we just hung out with him and he's like, no, you like changed my, his video is like, this guy ruined my career in 3 words or whatever. And like his life changed because of a random video that was like, oh yeah, this is like, I think this is a good thing. Like learn, make, repeat. That's how you get good at things. I'll make a video on that. And then I just make a video and post it online. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go home now and then make new videos. And meanwhile, Jake Frew's life is being changed. And now he's a YouTuber. Now he's like filmmaker, so talented, so good, all because of just that one little random video.
Yeah, I think like nowadays in the world, there's just so much negativity. And I think it's like fun that we can be like a positive voice on YouTube and actually change people's lives, even though we don't feel like it. But there's something to just being positive. I think there's just so many people who are alone, feeling a bit defeated. And then you as a YouTube content creator have the ability to make positive videos. Yeah. Not everyone does, but you can make positive videos.
And I don't even feel like I'm making that, like, I'm not trying to be like, okay, I had to like inspire, travel, learn as my tagline for a long time, but like, I'm not really trying. I'm just like, oh, I think this might be helpful for people. So I'm going to make this video. And then I just make that video. Like, that's one of the things that we've been playing around with. Like, I want to be able to help future YouTubers because there's nowhere to turn to right now. If you wanted to start YouTube, where do you go? Yeah. What do you look like? Who do you learn from? Like, it's impossible in a way, and like it's not impossible, but it's way harder than it should be. And then if we spend one weekend with a person, they're right away like, oh, I didn't know. Oh man, no, I'm so pumped. Oh, I can do that. Oh, like, and then you notice the difference in their channels right away just from a few conversations.
I think it's like so fun last year when we were snowboarding and just sitting in the lift and just like. Or like if anyone who wants to get into YouTube or has already started, it's so fun to sit with them and like develop with them, like what kind of ideas you could do or what kind of options would be there business-wise for this. How could you monetize this so that you can support your channel? Like it's like a YouTube Academy.
Yeah, I mentor. So I've never really, I have like mentioned this a little bit. I haven't really talked about it, but I mentor a few YouTube channels, and I really enjoy just talking to them about their channels, what I think they could do better. I love giving like, we call them like content roasts or video roasts, where I just like look at their videos and I'm like, this is not good. You could do this way better. And this is good. Do this, more of this. Tighten this. Pacing is off here. This thumbnail sucks. This thumbnail is good. And then after, like I had John Kuhn, our cousin's husband, he was like, I'm going to delete this video. I'm going to do it again. Like he was so like
That's
pumped
amazing.
up right away. Like, but wow, my mind is just going like crazy. Like,
but it works because the people that you're mentoring, you have a relationship with them so that you know that if you're doing that roast, it's for their own good.
And I'm pretty blunt with them, but like,
oh, I've heard you sometimes. I've heard you from another room. You're blunt, but the people realize that you're saying it because you care about them. And you want them to get better.
I try to tell them like I'm totally saying this out of like trying to help you out. I'm not saying this. But yeah, I genuinely enjoy helping people out with their it's actually fun for me. Like mentoring the other YouTube channels, it's not like the financially the smartest thing. It's not the best for my channel, but it's really like satisfying and fun, even for you, like to help you out with your channel. It's satisfying. It's fun to help somebody.
Are you proud of me? I'm making it. I'm doing it.
You're almost at 100K. When you get that plaque, you're like, I'm a YouTuber.
I'm gonna retire.
yeah,
I'm getting the 100K, and it's just gonna go on the wall. I'm done. I'm ready.
That's not how it goes. Who wants to retire and just do nothing? No, you wanna keep it going, keep making videos.
I can understand why the whole mentoring thing is so nice, because you get to see the growth. Because I've been doing these like one-on-one sessions right now, and it's fun. I like it, but then you feel so much pressure to give everything that 1 hour, and then you don't get to see the long-term growth. It's kind of like, okay, I gave you everything I know now. See you. Bye. Hopefully, good luck. Whereas it's so awesome that you can like every month or every few months check in, see how they're doing, take them to that next step with them, and like help them grow.
Yeah, for some of them, it's been years that we've been mentoring them, and like the difference between where they started and like just making a little bit of money, and then now like their views, their like their business side, the amount of money they're making. And like I think it hurts my brain seeing crazy talent. For example, Ryan Booth, you know Ryan Booth, right? Like we've looked up to him for so long, and I hate seeing him just like trying to pitch commercial after commercial and then getting denied and losing the pitch. And then like, you're so freaking talented. Like, let's just make something. And like, okay, like, can I help you make your feature film? Like, okay, let's get this going. Like, how do you get into YouTube already? Like, how can I help you to get into YouTube? And I'm trying to rack my brain. Like, okay, if we work on this feature film together, you can make content around that on YouTube, and I can shout you out, and I can help you, and I can tell you, that's good. This is like, you did. And like, I think that's really fun. Like it brings some sort of like enjoyment to my brain, whereas like seeing people just slave away and not get what they're supposed to get. Really talented people. Brian Booth is way more talented than I ever will be in my life, and like I feel like he should be able to make the things that he wants to make and not have to play the game of like pitching some brand to like, hey, can we make this thing? And like, no, we don't like that. Darn it. Okay, can we make the? No, we don't like that. Like,
and even when they do get to make it, it never ends up being what they want it to be in the end. There's so many middle people.
Yeah, like we like it, but we're gonna change everything about it. Like that's
like, that's why they have director's cuts, right? On video.
Yeah, exactly. It's always
the director's cut what they wanted to be on the internet, and then
so I was hoping it would be more like this, but it turned out like this.
but I would say that's a very like admirable trait about you, that you clearly like helping others, and you're secure enough in seeing other people thrive around you. Whereas a lot of people in the world, if someone else thrives or succeeds, they start thinking, oh no, I'm in trouble. Their success is away from my success. But you always say that what benefits
me benefits you, what benefits you.
Yeah,
benefits
and I love
me.
that saying, and I always try to take that mantra to everyone else too, because if everyone helped each other out in a mutually beneficial way, everyone goes up together. Whereas if you are up here and then you try and push everyone else down, most likely at some point you're the one who ends up down there.
But it's selfish in the end, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Like it's and that's my theory, is like everybody is selfish. Everybody wants things for themselves, and so like, how do you just make situations where
positive selfishness?
You get that, but also the other person gets
true.
that, and so like I can be happy for you, even if I don't know somebody. I can be happy for them. I can be excited about their accomplishments, and maybe someday I get to meet them and like I get to be a part of their accomplishments. Maybe I don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Even if I don't meet them and I don't personally benefit in like a concrete way, I still benefit from being happy for that person.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm just like bitter and envious that why is Ryan Booth getting to do that? Like I could do better. Not that I could do better. I could do better. Like that's poison for my life.
Yeah.
And then if I just like send Ryan a message like, oh Ryan, you're so freaking talented. Like how can we work together or whatever? Then all of a sudden, like this whole new door has been opened, and like who knows where it's gonna lead to me going to watch him make a feature film. And like that wouldn't happen if I was just insecure and like you know thinking like, oh, if I like he's way better than me, so like I can't. I'm
wanna-
gonna
I
look
wanna-
like a fraud if I go close to him. So I should just go away from over here and say that he's not good. I'm better. Like
Yeah.
what benefits me benefits you. That's
I have a question for you. This is the interview stream to you. At over 1 million subscribers, does a 1 million subscriber account, do you compare yourself to other big YouTube channels, or do you at that point be like, do you not find yourself comparing yourself or be like,
I think comparing usually comes when you're on the downward.
Yeah.
People start to compare more. And recently, I've been getting way less views than also. I don't know if it's just maybe my content sucks now, but I think it probably has to do with algorithms changing. The short form content is more being pushed out more, and so of course that's going to take away from long format videos. And then you start thinking like, oh, Potato Jet's still getting good views.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, like maybe it is just my content. And so yeah, there's definitely like you start to compare sometimes like that. But at the same time, I feel like I'm kind of just like, my goal was to get to 1 million.
Yeah.
I've achieved it. I don't have the goal of getting to 10 million.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll ever happen, probably because I don't have that goal. It's not that interesting to
Yeah.
me to get 10 million. I would rather now build some really cool company or
Yeah.
help the next generation of YouTubers. That's way more interesting to me. And so like, why do I care if some other YouTuber has more subscribers or whatever? But I do remember when I started doing YouTube, I remember specifically, I found Ben Brown's channel. He's like a daily vlogger. And then I remember meeting him at Buffer Festival. And I remember watching, he had made like this, what did he call it? Visual Vibes, I think. And it was from, I think it was somewhere like Alaska. I don't remember. Where was it? Somewhere like he was on this like boat and it was like Antarctica or somewhere crazy. I don't remember where it was. Actually, no, it was Northern Canada, I think. And it was like really cool. And I just remember thinking like, this guy has 600,000 subscribers and he's getting like tens of thousands of views and he's just traveling and making whatever video he wants. Like if I could do that someday, man, I would be set. Like I would just be so happy. I would like, that would be it. And now I have 1 million subscribers and I'm like, nothing feels different. Like nothing has changed. I still want to do the next thing. I still like, I'm not just like chilling here and I'm just gonna take it easy now. I'm still pushing and trying to innovate and trying to figure out what the next fun thing is to work on. Yeah, million subscribers, 100,000 subscribers isn't going to change anything for you. Nothing changes.
That's what I'm always thinking. Like, I'm probably going to hit the 100K. Like, okay, yeah. But, yeah, we'll see.
I mean, to an extent, like money, for example, to an extent changes your life.
Yeah, true.
But then, getting 100 times more money than you make right now isn't going to change your life by 100 times.
Yeah, definitely not.
But then people try to make it feel like it changes your life and they start spending more and they get all this stuff and then actually like is really bad for you. More money isn't necessarily more problems, but more stuff definitely is.
I think there's like a study that it's like up to a certain
I think
income
it's like
level, it might increase your
50,
happiness
60,
or
$70,000
yeah,
or something
and then
like
after that, it's just like it probably brings more problems.
Like if plateaus really quickly, and I think money can really open doors, and like for example, like I couldn't executive produce Danny Gavert's or Ryan Booth's film if I didn't have money right now.
Yeah.
And so like it does open up doors, and if used right, money can be really great.
I feel like at some point, if you have more money, it doesn't bring you joy if you're just spending it for yourself.
Oh, yeah,
but if you start helping others, like
Yeah.
I remember I heard one person said that if good people make good money, good things happen. And that's true, because if you're a good person, you genuinely want to help people and you make good money, there's a lot of potential to help people.
Yeah.
And I think that's a motivating factor for me too. It's like, if I work harder and I do make more money, it does open up doors to help people out more, which is exciting.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's like, what can we cook up here with this money and help people?
I think it was you that said somebody was like, "Oh, I don't care about money," kind of thing, and you're like, "Of course you care about like you should care about money because it allows you to do certain things in life."
Yeah.
And if you don't have any like vision or whatever for getting a little bit more money, then like you're never gonna be able to do those things that you might want to do someday, and you just have to do something that you maybe don't want to do for the rest of your life.
That was my question when I asked the person. I said, well, do you value your time? Do you enjoy where you're working right now? And they didn't. And I was like, well, then you do care about money.
Yeah, exactly. Money could change that. Money could, like, get you to a place where you do enjoy the thing that you're doing.
I think most people who say I don't care about money are the ones who are overwhelmed by money,
yeah.
and they get
They're just
stressed
not
by
very
it.
good
So
with
they
money.
just say, oh, I don't really care about money.
Yeah.
And then it's like easy way to push it aside and just forget about it, even though it's an everyday thing that we all face every single day. So.
And the other lie that people always tell themselves with money is like, I don't want money. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And comfort, it's just not. There's no such thing as being. Money won't bring comfort, and your comfort level, if you're just trying to get comfort out of money, just changes. You get a little bit more money, and it's like you get a nice apartment, and you're like, well, I need to get a car, and well, actually, I need to buy a house. Okay, and then you buy that house, and well, I do need 2 cars. You need 2 cars, and your comfort level just keeps changing all the time, over and over again. And there is no like end to that. Where I'm like, oh no, I'm comfortable.
Yeah. I'm riding my bike to work. I'm trying to fight this.
Yeah.
There have been times where I'm like, maybe we should get 2 cars. Like, no, I'm going to ride my bike. A, I'm saving gas. B, I'm getting in shape by biking, and it's more enjoyable. So
Yeah, it's great. I get a lot of like kicks out of like, I'd love driving actually it was your Mazda 3 originally, and then I bought that Mazda 3, and I loved that my camera was worth twice what my car was. Like that felt good, spending that money on a camera, which was going to bring me forwards in my
Yeah.
career, versus just buying a fancy car, which really wasn't going to do anything for me. And like,
I'm driving the Kia Rio,
the Kia Rio is pretty sweet.
and I don't have any debt on it. So I'm a proud driver.
I do like my Tesla though.
I like
I'm
my
just gonna
Kia.
put that-
I
I'm
like
just
my
gonna
Kia Rio too. Okay,
Let's go for a race.
you're on. I'll take you any day.
All right, I think we gotta go hit the waves over there. The waves are pumping behind. I don't know if you guys. Well, if you're listening,
we're
to this,
gonna
you can't
start a
hear this.
surfing YouTube channel in the future
Yeah.
because we are becoming the Surfer Bros,
Surf Bros. This is the start of a new era.
Finnish Surf Bros. What can we call Fin Surf?
Fin surf.
Fin Surf Club.
We're all about surfing.
Surf and club sodas.
I do want to start surfing more, and there's a guy who's like a pro surf coach, like coaches pros, and he said he would teach us. So we gotta go make that trip
That's
to
the next
Bali.
trip.
That's
Next
we gotta go to Bali
From
for like
one
a
year
week.
from now, when my son's a little bit older,
Surf
your
trip.
kids are gonna come along and surf too. We're having a surf trip.
There's just something about surfing.
Everyone else coming too?
I gotta say, it is one of the hardest things I've done in a while. Especially yesterday, the conditions were terrible. Like I was like almost mad that they were so bad, and my shoulders were just tired. I only like caught one wave, sort of, a few like half seas.
I haven't seen you so flustered in a while, to be honest. I was a little worried because we went farther away and I was surfing. And I thought everyone's having a good time, and I came back and you weren't having a good time. So I was like, oh, too bad.
It was still.
But glad we had a good day today.
I definitely haven't failed that hard at something for a long time.
The conditions weren't right.
The conditions were terrible.
Surfing's all about the conditions.
This morning they were it was much better than yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you carve into that one.
Oh
wave.
yeah,
It was
we actually
nice.
we got a wave together.
Yeah, we
even.
did get away. But too bad we were both goofy, because if I was regular, we could have been facing each other. And
Yeah,
like,
I was trying to get closer to you so I could high five you, but
What am I gonna do, a back high
We
five?
don't have any control over our boards yet.
we're riding big boards
It just
forward.
goes straight. I did carve a little bit on that one. I got a little sideways. It was a 9-foot
Let's
long
go.
board.
Let's go out then.
Okay, let's
Round
go.
2 surf session today.
This
Starts
was
in
a
Dubai.
great trip. Great trip so far. Thanks for coming to Tofino with us
all the way from Finland.
all the way from Finland. It's been good.
Next time you're coming to Finland,
Is there surfing there?
there is in the
Electric
sea.
surfing.
Yeah, there is electric surfing.
See you guys.